Everybody, it's time for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have everybody talking.
We're joined by Tracy Johnson from the Commercial Association of Realtors.
Just Tracy, because Jeff Wagner is kind of hunkering down at the state fair.
Yep.
Can't get any video back of him with the weather being what it is right now.
Right, but let's get right to it. A Utah mother is upset after she received a letter from a school principal. The letter asked that she cover up while breastfeeding her baby during a school lunch program.
The mother feels the letter is meant to shame her. She says it is completely inappropriate for the principal to say anything. Should the principal have asked this mom to cover up? This is going on inside the school. It was a school program going on.
Well, and this mother, I think, really knew that she was doing something inappropriate. This is a school lunch program where people from all over the community come and enjoy lunch, and she was plopping down in the middle of this lunch and breastfeeding her child. And she knew she was doing something wrong because somebody from the school came up to her and gave her this letter, and she said, "Is this about my breastfeeding?" And she knew. So I think that she should have been scolded for this. She was asked to cover up or go find someplace else because they'd received numerous complaints. So I think it's completely appropriate.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the act of breastfeeding, period.
Right.
But judgment does come into play at some point where you decide to do it.
Well, and the letter even acknowledged that it's very important. We understand. And in Utah, you actually have the right to openly do this in public. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think that in the interest of everybody who participates in that program, they were definitely in the right to suggest that she go somewhere else or cover up. And they even offered to help her find a place. It was a very tastefully written article, and she knew that she was pushing the boundaries.
There are a lot of opinions on this, though. I know a lot of women are very passionate about this topic. I've covered stories on it where women feel it should be widely accepted, and so there's going to be obviously people still on both sides of this.
And to your point, I mean, it's a hotly contested issue on both sides. And I think that people who are pro breastfeeding are actually a little more enthusiastic about it because they almost feel like the world is against them. And I think it's just about using common sense and using good judgment about how you take care of your child.
And you really think she was just trying to push the boundaries here and stir up a little trouble?
Well, I do, and I understand that she had another child who was participating in the program, but to just kind of, and it sounds like she was seated at a table. She wasn't really, using precautions. She was kind of in the middle of the room and feeding her child. I think that you go in a corner, you be discreet about it, and then I think everybody's fine.
All right. Hey, you're doing fine all by yourself today.
I talk to myself all the time.
Coming up next, we reveal the viewer's choice topic of the day.
And Brian Goddard, of course, is back with one more look at your forecast.
Viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we're joined by Tracy Johnson.
And only Tracy Johnson.
Only.
The viewer's choice topic today. The U.S. House of Representatives, it passed a $694 million border bill. That money would go toward additional border security and law enforcement measures. It would also speed up deportations. That bill will not get addressed by the Senate until September. Should Congress have resolved this border crisis before leaving on a 5-week-long vacation? And the House actually had to very dramatically scramble last week to get something passed. They were calling members back from the airport as they were getting on flights to go home because they thought nothing was going to get done on their chamber either.
Well, and I think this is another example of the political theater that continues to go on. There's no way that the Senate could have passed the bill, on their side, and then the president gets involved and he starts, blaming the Republicans and the Democrats, and, should they have passed it? Yes, but I think the way that they went about it was a little bit tricky, and ultimately I don't think it's going to resolve in a solution. So
the Republicans who control the House passed a measure because they felt like they had to go back with something passed before they went back to their districts where they're going to go raise money and they're going to campaign because they're all up for election in the fall.
Right.
Is that just the poison pill here? I mean, they had to get something passed that they could support, knowing full well that
it probably won't.
The Senate wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, I mean, these are all speaking points, and in a re-election year, this is what campaigns are made of, are these talking points. And I think that President Obama is continuing to fuel the fire, and he's kind of in a no-win situation.
All right.
Time now for our lightning round. A North Carolina diner is offering a 15% discount to anyone who prays before eating right there in public. The owner has been offering the discount for 4 years now, but it just gained national attention after a radio station posted a customer's receipt on Facebook. So what are your thoughts on this kind of discount?
I love this, and I'm so glad that after 4 years, it's getting the attention it deserves. I mean, this isn't about public prayer. This is about being grateful and offering gratitude. And if you have the money to eat at this diner, then you should take a minute and pause and be grateful. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the restaurant owner says this is not a universal rule.
Right.
They're not going to give everybody they see praying the 15% discount. It's random. If they're moved, if the spirit moves them, they're going to do something. It's just kind of a nice little lottery.
Nice little touch.
Well, yeah, and now think about if you can even innovate further. Now, can that 15% go to a good cause and feed the hungry or the homeless? So I think it's great, and I'm glad it's getting the social media buzz that it deserves.
All right.
Definitely paying it forward.
Yes, it is. The What's Hot discussion, it will continue online. You can find it at tmj4.com/